let's meet another guy that you're going to have to know everything about leading into the draft, into the rest of the offseason as these 32 teams that we know and love continue to take shape. It is so nice to meet Nebraska receiver Isaiah Neyor. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Good. Thank you for being here. You are, it doesn't make sense. You're so big, you're so tall, you're so fast, you're doing all of these things. I wanted to start here. You did something only four dudes have ever done in the last 10 years. Do you know that?
I think I seen something like that. I think somebody had tagged me in that, and it was crazy, So I didn't even know that, but hey, it's a blessing. So hey, it is what it is.
Well, for those of you who don't know, you ran a 440 at over 218 pounds, and only that's an exclusive list. Okay, there's only four of the receivers that have done that. To me, just the science doesn't make sense. Are you an alien? Like, what's the story?
Hey, I've been called an avatar or alien. I've been called everything. So I don't know what it is. It's genetics, plus hard work. So you put those two together and you get those results. So hey,
Yeah, you have it all. There's a big name on that list that is DK Metcalf, and I keep hearing his name compared to yours. Do you like that comparison?
yeah, he's a big guy. Obviously super fast, a freak athlete. So I think we got some comparisons. Obviously, a great receiver, but yeah, I could kind of see some comparisons with him alongside him. So yeah.
His fun fact I remember when he was drafted was that he eats candy. He eats so much candy, like that's his all day. It's like part of his diet. What is your fun fact? Like, what's your thing?
A fun fact about me, I like to go out and golf for distance. So I'm not really I'm not Tiger Woods by any chance, by any means, but I like to go out there and just golf for distance, see how far I can hit it, stay there for a couple minutes, and then go back. So that's me.
How far can you hit it?
I don't even know. I can hit it pretty far. I can hit it pretty far. So my stepdad, he actually does golfing a lot. So, I just go with him whenever I can and then I'll just hit it for distance. So yeah.
I love that. I love it. That's a good fun fact and a very hard game to play. So I'm learning about golf actually. So it's funny that you're saying that. I do have footage of this 40 here. It did really happen. It's true. This looks like, talk me through this. It looks like you were running so fast that you almost fell.
Yeah. I'm honestly not even yes, a fast 40, but I was the way it happened, I actually cramped when I ran that. I
No.
cramped I cramped in my calves about 20 yards when I got to that 20-yard mark. And yeah, that stumble right there, I just had to just keep pushing through it. But I wanted to run a 4.3, but 4.4 flat, I'll take it. It is what it is. So
Yeah, I would take it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't scientifically make sense.
no, it doesn't. It's crazy. But that's hey, it happened the way it happened. So
You wrecked the combine. Like I think we have your stats here, your measurables. Congratulations. You had like a 997
thank you.
relative athletic score out of 10, popping off the page. And it translates onto the field, these measurables. 59-yard opening week touchdown against UTEP. I'd like you to talk me through this and how the heck you tracked this one and stayed on your feet. I don't get it. I don't get it.
So basically, initially, this was actually a different play. So Dylan has seen the matchup and he gave me an audible. I got the audible, a
Mm.
go ball. So I knew that once I got even with the DB, I knew Dylan was going to place the ball where it needed to be. I made the play and, I did my best. I wanted to score so badly. So I did my best to stay up no matter what. And, I went into the end zone. I did my little dance and celebrated with my teammates. So yeah, it was definitely a memorable moment.
I mean, the safety is hitting you as you're making the catch, and you somehow stay on your feet. You get into the
Yeah.
end zone. I love this play. We were looking at it this morning. And so I'm looking at your combine, your measurables. I'm looking at the footage that I have. I'm looking at all of this. And we're in our morning meeting. There's like 10 people on a Zoom. Nobody's had their coffee yet. And I'm like, so where's he going? Day one? Where's he? And you're not a day one guy, everyone's saying, but I
Yeah.
feel like you have day one skills. I feel
Oh
like you
yeah.
have day one talent. it, you've faced some adversity, right? Like and
Mhm.
not really things that you can control, right? You go from Wyoming to Texas, you tear your ACL before you even get a chance to suit up there. Then you go to Nebraska where one has to start from scratch again. And you had a great year, but the tape is too small, or like we don't have enough on tape, or like whatever that is. What does that feel like to know that you can be one of these top receivers, but you're maybe not being looked like that yet?
It's I think about that from time to time. I try not to compare myself to people. I try to just have this me versus me mentality. But I think that with the amount of work that I've put in and just knowing myself, I think I'm just as good as any top receiver in this class. With all due respect to all those guys, there's a bunch of amazing wide receivers, super talented guys, but I think that I can do just as, I think I'm just as good as any of them out there, and, with the adversity that I faced at Texas with the torn ACL and things like that, having to go to Nebraska and get a fresh start, it definitely kind of a lot of ups and downs throughout my career. But one thing I'm proud of is just continuing to put my best foot forward, and that understanding that no matter how deep of a hole I'm in, I'm gonna find a way to climb myself out of it. So, I'm just
Isaiah, who's the
glad I'm blessed
person?
to be here.
Yeah, who's the person you turn to with all of that? Like, obviously, like when even just an ACL injury like that, what that takes from you mentally. Like, who's the person that's by your side that you can go to?
Initially, I kind of stayed to myself, but as I kind of progressed, I turned to my parents. My mom and my stepdad, they were super supportive. They would come drive to Austin, come visit me, cook me my favorite meals and things like that. And they just, they had my back, so I turned to them.
I'm wondering how you're carrying this idea with you, because I think you're a day one talent. Like, I think you're going to end up, everyone's going to look back and be like, huh, how did we miss that? Oh, there wasn't enough
Yeah,
on paper, like whatever people, the scouts or whatever are looking for, because it's all there. Like, it's all there. I'm
yeah.
seeing. Do you carry it with you quietly? Do you carry it with you as a chip on your shoulder? Do you carry it with you, like, how do you have to use that to your advantage in some way, right? As fuel.
Yeah. Definitely carry with a chip on my shoulder. Even going back to in high school, I was a two-star recruit. You know what I'm saying? I was overlooked a lot by a lot of colleges. I had one big offer, which was Wyoming. And, all it takes is one team to believe in you. All it takes is one. And, Wyoming was my biggest offer. And, I took that opportunity, I ran with it, and now I'm here today. So, it's kind of like a reoccurring thing again, just
Yeah.
kind of not a guy that's looked at as, oh, he's a top guy or a day one talent, like you were saying. But I think that once all it takes is one team to believe in me, give me that opportunity, and I'll show everybody that who I really am. So
And most importantly, you believe in yourself. And I'd say this: when the things that you can't control, changing schools, all of that, depth charts after injury, all of that, you can't help that. You put yourself in the best position. You did it well. You put your head down and you worked. And then you have these opportunities that I feel like for you are even more pressure. The combine's tough for everybody, but you're that guy. So those things matter even more, and you crush it. That says a lot about you, that in those biggest moments when
yeah.
you have the most to prove, you are shining in front of the
Oh,
best in the entire draft prospect class. So I thought that was very cool. I'm certainly rooting for you. And I want you to be
thank
in the
you.
NFL. I'm excited to root for you along with some of your favorite receivers. I saw your list of top three wide receivers, and Garrett Wilson is on there. Why do you like Garrett so much?
I've seen Garrett Wilson since high school, and he's super talented, super athletic. He obviously makes the craziest catches, and I just think that he's one of those guys. So, with him being from Texas, and that's kind of I'm a little biased at that too, but he's just a freak. He's a freak athlete. So, much respect to him.
He plays big.
Yes, he does. So, yeah, he's very,
Hmm.
very crazy.
Have you talked to NFL teams? Which ones? Who's sticking out to you? Like, what's that been like as far as communicating with the teams?
I've talked to a lot of teams. I talked to the just recently just spoke with the 49ers. I spoke with the Bengals and the Titans. I think the Titans kind of stick out to me the most. A lot of them kind of asking a lot of questions about, me, my how I came up and things like that, quizzing me on my IQ and things like that. So all meetings were great. And yeah, so that's what I was saying.
I love it. So, what's next for you in this process?
So pro day, I'm actually flying out on this Saturday to Nebraska, to get my pro day going. and just looking to go and attack it again. And after that, just keep putting my head down, keep working, and then when draft day comes, just sit there and just let it happen. So.
You're smiling. You've got good support around you. I have a really good feeling about. I mean, I think you're going to go where you're supposed to go. That I know. That I could say to everybody and believe everybody goes where they're supposed to go. Is there one thing you want NFL fans to know about you, or something that isn't on this stat sheet, or something that maybe you'd like somebody like me to talk about more?
Something that they don't know about me. I'd say that I'm just a super hard worker. I mean, I know some people know that, but I work really hard. And especially after getting hurt after my ACL, it kind of changed my mindset, the way I carry myself from a health standpoint. So any chance that I get to kind of make sure my body's in top tier shape, I work on my mental and all of those things. So I work hard, not just physically but mentally as well. The mental part of this game is just super important, just as important as the physical part. So I try to work on those things to make sure that I'm the best that I can be. So I'll say work ethic.
Well, if you ever need anything, you come to me. I'm happy to be introduced to you, to know you a little bit. Let NFL fans get a little peek at you, and best of luck at your pro day. I know you're going to crush it, and throughout the rest of the draft process. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you too.